Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Damn Parenting, your English-speaking parenting podcast from the Netherlands. And today it's another episode of DAMChats. As always, we are your hosts, Eva and
Maren.
today we are delighted to actually have Karoll from Parentally on with us. Hi, Karoll.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just got back from vacation, so I'm doing great.
I'm
That's
glad
good.
some of us are. So today's episode is it actually stems from Maren. So Maren, why don't you tell us?
Yeah, so we were chatting about, okay, what are the next topics for our chats and what are things that are relevant and what are things that make us move emotionally. And one topic that really brings my blood to boil on, so not positively, but really where I sometimes I'm scared that my eyeballs are not going to drop back to the front of my head is the word mompreneur. Is such a degrading, belittling term to me where I just cannot. So I thought this is something that we need to chat about because I was in a group of female entrepreneurs and then this topic, this phrase or the terminology came up and I was like, ladies, please, let's not, because this is not doing anyone any good. So I thought this is a topic and a phrase, like a term that I want to throw into the chat. I'm super happy to be educated if I'm too critical on this. So we thought, let's bring on someone who really is in the whole entrepreneurial world and is also dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs from very different fields to get a little bit more of an insight because obviously I can only speak from my own experience. I can maybe speak from 5 other people that I see, but Karoll is really someone who, how many people do you have on your platform right now? Do you know this at the top of your head?
Yes, about 60 at the moment.
Yeah, so you have a lot more insight into this whole field. And because you're in contact with everyone, you're onboarding them. And I'm sure that this phrase has come up within your bubble.
Yes, it does. It does. It doesn't actually pop up in the frame of Parentally, but as I also evolve in the startup bubble, it kind of pops up. The
Yeah.
thing is that is something you only hear about moms and not about dads. You only hear, and you hear mompreneurs and you also hear momtrepreneurs, which is also impossible to pronounce.
Because it shouldn't exist.
Exactly. No, I think I have a kind of love and hate opinion about this word because I kind of like that it reflects all the challenges, that are related to being a mom and an entrepreneur at the same time. But I also don't like that, there is no equivalent for dads. And, when you hear mompreneurs, it's kind of lessens the, how to say this.
Diminishes the...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, actually, so one of the things was, first question is, out of the 60 odd professionals on your platform, how many are men?
0.
Okay, there you go.
So we have a full professional platform run by women, and then they get belittled from outside as playing business. Oh, these moms, they can play business. And I'm sure you're still on the market, you're still running. So you are a legitimate business that runs with a revenue that has numbers. And I'm sure this is not some fun game that you play on the side when your toddler is eating up their sand castles.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really not. It's actually a word that I never use, really. I mean, when I introduce myself, of course, introduce myself as an entrepreneur and also as a mom, because it's also the reason why I launched Parentally. But the fact that I am a mom should be relevant to the fact that I am an entrepreneur and to the fact that, I'm able to make this work and to make this successful. And, it just doesn't really make sense that I shouldn't have to bring it up and to use. I never use this word, actually. I never do.
Yeah. My husband has his own business and no one ever has called him, oh, the cute dadpreneur. How's that going? Like, no.
So one of the things was I actually was quickly Googling, not translating, but dictionary. So momtrepreneur is a blend of the words mom and entrepreneur, and it refers to a woman who is both a homemaker as well as head of their own business. I was like, are you kidding me?
And then wait, the 1950s called, I think I have to pick that. They want to have their terms.
But then it's
Sorry,
also like,
I declined.
In the Cambridge dictionary, they have mompreneur entrepreneur as a mother who started her own business. And I can't find, where's the dad who starts his
Where's
own
the
business
dadpreneur? Yeah.
terminology? Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? It's one of those things that we get these labels and they try to turn it into a positive, like girl boss, boss babe, lady boss, all that kind of stuff. And as you said, like it's so diminishing on the hard work and effort that we put in. And we already have a lot of challenges because the minute people think you're a mom, your priorities are going to be your kid. And it's like, well, I put my child to bed and I sit down and then I work for several hours. I give up my sleep and this is what I'm doing. This is like a dedication. But yet we don't get that, I'm not going to say applause, but we don't get the recognition basically that it's a case of we're doing as much, if not more than men because we have to. And yes, we are most likely as well the default parent as well. So I mean, there's so much more challenges and yet we still get these belittling titles. So on that note, it's one of the cases where we're never going to invent a new title because right now we shouldn't have a title. It should just be we are an entrepreneur. That's it. Full stop. We're running our own business. And yes, we might start something and maybe it doesn't work out. That's okay. Because you know what? You don't learn from succeeding. You learn from failing. And it's one of those things that like we just want to celebrate everyone. And so with this, it's a case of let's try and hopefully get people to start eliminating these terminologies. And, you know, as much as we're trying to celebrate women who are doing it, and we should continue to support each other and we should champion each other and we should be able to mention each other's names in rooms that they're not in. But at the same time, we also need to be educated. And exactly like Maren said, maybe I need a bit of education on, hey, you know, this is why we call it or this is why we don't call it. But for you as Parentally, as the founder of Parentally, who is actually a great platform to help support young families here in the Netherlands through service providers, you are on the feet of being seeded and invested in and everything else. Do you feel like you've had a different look to you because you're a female founder, or do you feel there's been a bit of discrepancy, or is there something you feel like people have kind of put you to the sideline because of your being a mom and being an entrepreneur?
Both. I think there are a lot of male in this field who look down at women and who would prefer to invest in men and male teams. And at the same time, there are also people who are trying to just move the lines, you know, and really support women and their different ventures. So I think like it really you kind of have to choose who you want to talk to, and to talk to the people who really understand what you are going through and who want to support you. And being a mom and an entrepreneur, of course, has some challenges. And what I don't like about the term is that because you are a mom and an entrepreneur, then you're going to face more difficulties, or, you know, it's going to be harder for you. And it's not always the case. I mean, sometimes you are just like another entrepreneur, just like a male entrepreneur, and it's going great for you. But in the end, yeah, I think it's still a very patriarchal world. And you kind of have to choose who you want to talk to and who you want, you know, the backing from, the financial funding, because the people who are not able to understand what you are doing, then maybe they are not the right people to bring on as investors. That's what I look at.
Very true. And I was just, when you're saying that, all I could think of was when people think of momtrepreneur, they're like, oh, you're mom first and then an entrepreneur. So your priorities are different. It's like, well,
exactly.
I am going to say I'm a mom first because yes, my child is my priority. But like we said, like, I put my child to bed and then I sit down and I work at night, you know, because that's the way it has to be. It's a kind of sore topic, I think, for many of us, but it was so funny. Maren's text, it was quite an angry text from Maren about this specific topic.
Yeah, because it's just this whole thing of that they think, oh, she will jump the ship if anything's with the child. And they would never say this to a dad. They would never think, oh, what if the child gets sick? Is the business not going to succeed? They would never think that. But if a mom says, oh, I'm running a business and I also have a child, oh yeah, we can invest in her. But what if the child gets sick? Or what if the child has that? She will never put the business first. Like she might, and she might not. It doesn't matter. It's her decision, but it's a personal decision. And it's not a decision because she has a child and a child is always first, because no one would ever say this about a man. Oh, we're worried that he's going to take the soccer practice of his son more seriously than the keeping or whatever. I don't know. Like these thoughts, they're just not in the discussion when it comes to men running business, but they are always on the table when it comes to women running business. And I also think there is a difference. I've said this to Eva before. If we as females within our own circles use this term, then it has a different connotation than if someone from the outside uses it. And I have never heard a man positively, oh, she's a mompreneur, like, and meaning that positive, but it always meant this is something negative. And this is what I also wanted to make clear to the listeners, that if you say this as a woman compliment to a woman comes with it might even come with like, oh, I'm so impressed. Like I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good. But from the outside, it's not seen as that. And it's not coming with this whole praise and connotation of this is something amazing and we're so proud of you, but it's always negative thought of, oh, she's a mompreneur from the outside. And that's what really bothers me.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly. I think you nailed it. That's exactly that.
And I think that as women, we need to be aware of this, that if we keep reproducing these things without the explanation or without the intention why we're saying this, if we could just take it out from the patriarchy and we just put it in our conversations, when we as women know that we're not belittling ourselves and each other, but we need to be aware that in the outside, it is not used as a positive term to describe us.
It's a such touchy subject, but it's like at the end of the day, yeah, you run parentally, and it's a case of you have 60 people who are all women on your platform. And not once am I sure you've said, I've got this momtrepreneur on my platform. I have this momtrepreneur.
Never. But I think that's exactly like Maren put it. Like if you say a mompreneur from women to women, then you understand. And it's kind of empowering because you kind of see and recognize each other and all the challenges and the struggles that you go through. So it's positive. But then if you talk about mompreneurs to other people, then it is kind of belittling and kind of minimizing all, the hard work and the dedication that you put into starting your own business, rather than really, focusing on your achievements. You focus more on the fact that you are a mother, which is not really relevant, in this kind of discussions. What's relevant is what you are able to achieve and what you are able to do, and not the fact that you are a mom. So yeah, it's not really nice to use.
I think what you said there was like really on point with like when you said about like when moms use it with moms, like it's because we recognize the hard work that we're putting in, and it's because like we're the ones who knows what it's like to be having to breastfeed through the night or having to soothe your toddler or whatever it might be, and we still get up and we still got to go through it. And it's just that thing of like, yeah, it'd be great to be able to recognize each other, and as I said, always stand up and champion and say the other person's name in a room where they're not standing, because at the end of the day we know how much it takes. And I don't know how much I can say this or who's listening specifically. I do know men get to travel for their job, and then they get to go away for a couple of days and they get solid night's sleep in a nice hotel, and they get to eat their meals without being distracted, and I mean, this happens a lot, and it's one of those things that we're in it 24/7. We're doing it, and we still got to work, and we still got to do our job, and we, this is what it is. And it's a case of, yeah, it's just momtrepreneur. It's just the diminishing sound of it is just so negative, and it's a case of, can we just stop?
This travel example is a good example. If I could, let's say, I go to a conference or whatever, and they say, you have to travel, you have to be there. And I say, well, I cannot because I'm breastfeeding or whatever. For whatever reason, I cannot because I don't want to be away from my child or whatever the reason is. And then I come up with 3 creative other solutions. It's not viewed as, oh my God, great. She's thinking out of the box. She really wants to make this work. So she's offering us other solutions, but it's like, oh, she can't do it. And it's not viewed as, see how creative she is. Can we make it work? Can we do a video conference? Can we do this? Can we do that? But yeah, it's never viewed as something positive, and that we have actually more creative capacity because we constantly have to try to find this third solution or fourth solution, or how can we make this work for all the parties involved? And this is never viewed as something, oh, amazing, she really wants to make it work, but it's viewed as she really doesn't want to travel. But it's never viewed as great, and she gave us 3 other solutions how we can make it work.
Yeah, fair point. Because as much as we try, there's always going to be a male perspective at that. So I know we're not going to we're not going to find a way. We're not going to find a new title. We're not going to find a way to do it. But I think, yeah, I mean, like having Karoll on, I mean, the reason we wanted you on is because you are such a great representative of empowering women who are going to be business owners, who are service providers, or who are out there actually supporting other women, other families as well. And the fact that you have 100% female only people on your platform as well is unbelievable. So we're not going to create a new title, but we are going to recognize that the efforts and the dedication and hard work that us moms do go into and do put in any hobby, side project, however you want to label it, but it's going to be a business at the end of the day. If you have any input into how we're going to be able to come up with a new terminology, or if we're going to phrase it, but I think ending it on your note, exactly as you said, it's a case of we'll recognize each other when we say momtrepreneur face to face. It's because we understand that the struggles we actually go through, but when we're out with other people, let's not use it. Let's just drop the mom, say entrepreneur, businesswoman, whatever it is. It's just like, okay, yeah, you can find Karoll on parentally.nl. She is out there. She is hustling like you wouldn't believe. She finished her Negelman Beurs introduction there in February, where she was out and she was hosting actually her platform. She had all the people on her platform who were welcome to come and host her little stand, basically, to kind of be like, hey, you were sharing your platform, which I think is exactly what you represent in Parentally. So thank you.
And some of them we've had actually on expert episodes. So if you really want to dive a little deeper into that, we did interview a couple of people that not are only on Parentally, but also have shared their expert knowledge because they're running an expert business on our other episodes on our podcast.
We're not going to have a new term out of this episode, but we do want to say we're frustrated. We hear you. We see you. Check out Parentally for anyone you want to support in the female platform and the female service providers, because at the end of the day, we know each other. We see each other. We understand the value and the effort that each other are putting into this. And hopefully the next time Karoll's going to be back, she's going to be a fully seated and invested platform who might actually have a male person on her platform.
Maybe I'll have a dadpreneur with me.
oh, please. Yeah. When you get a male on your platform, can you say he's a dadpreneur?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on DAMChats. And for now, we'll say goodbye for now. And hopefully use Momtrepreneur wisely.
Exactly. And if you want to hear more from us, you can hear us every Wednesday with an expert episode. And every other Monday, we try to put out a DAMChats episode. Either it's even me chatting away, or we have a guest come on and chat with us, discuss a topic that it's on our minds, which, like we did this week, was the mompreneur term and how it makes our blood boil. And with that, we will leave it and we hear you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.